Kaylana, the bus driver here. And so this is part 2 of how to start your own rideshare, courier, delivery, and food service business. And so I apologize. I wanted to be at my house to do this so it could be kind of consistent, but I'm out here working, and so I have a quick break. Okay, so part 2 is talking about, I want to talk about know what kind of entrepreneur that you want to be. Okay, so this also includes a lot having to do with your personality, because some people think that they are able to start a business or start their own company, but they don't have the patience or the character in order to do so. So meaning, like, you have to know what type of business that you want to start. Okay, you have to kind of know who you are, and even especially with starting a business, a lot of it all of it has to do with you. Now, of course, the customers and the clients come into play and things like that, of knowing your audience, but it really has to do with you, and you have to kind of know your temperament. That's why that's why there's so many personality tests and character tests and knowing who you are type of tests. And so I've taken plenty of those and things like that. So, and also taking like those personality tests, you kind of know like which one you are. There's another test, I can't think of the name of it, and I took it about a year or so ago at church. I can't remember the name of it, but it's different personalities. And I'm not talking about like the INFJ or whatever, but it's one where you'll know if you're a sanguine or a melancholy or something like that. I can't think of the name of it, but I'll have to do that later. And so basically, when you know your personality style and your temperaments, and you know how you deal with people, you'll kind of have an idea of the type of entrepreneur that you want to be. Are you introverted? Like, are you a person that is always wanting to be to yourself, or you're not really sociable? Things like that. And so these are some of the factors that you can kind of consider when starting your own business and stuff. And so also, are you an extrovert, or you have no problem dealing with people? Now, I'm not saying that if you are an introvert like myself, that you won't be successful. That's not true, because there are a lot of successful people, wealthy people, that are introverts. One of them is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is an introvert. He is not extrovert at all, but he is very wealthy. He's rich and he's successful, but he knew what type of entrepreneur he wanted to be. He wanted to get into technology. And so even though he has his personality, but it still won't stop him from dealing with people. But he took his expertise, he took his skills, and he also knows how to interact with people, and he knows the lingo of business. He knows a lot about technology, and so that's how he was able to maneuver his way in the tech industry. So you have to read more about him and stuff like that. But there are a lot of successful people who just don't deal with people that much. They have, what they call PR people, public relations people, and they have spokespeople, or they may have other people that they deal with that will speak on their behalf. Are you the kind of person that is able to deal with stuff under pressure? Like, can you handle work under pressure? Are you able to deal with serious situations? Like, say, suppose if you have a great company, or if you have a business and something happens to where you get an unsatisfied customer, or someone begins to slander you, are you able to handle that in a mature manner? Or are you so quick to go off, or are you going to be so quick to post it on Twitter or Instagram? Like, we see a lot of leaders that do that. Whatever they feel, they go straight to Twitter and start posting stuff. Are you going to do that? Because really, when it comes to business matters, your character means a lot. How you respond, your emotions, what you think, and stuff like that. Because people, they may buy your service, excuse me, or buy your product or invest in it or whatever. But after a period of time, when they begin to know who you are as the business owner, and if you're out there doing stuff and saying stuff that is out of character, or that may be illegal, they're not going to deal with you anymore. And so that can affect your bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why you have to know what kind of entrepreneur that you want to be. Are you the kind of person that is so quick to steal other people's ideas? If you see somebody else that has an idea, and then you begin to speak with them on how they did what they did, and you take that and you try to mimic it, it won't be for long until people realize that. People, it's like what they say, real recognize real. You know what I'm saying? Are you able to deal with other people copying your idea? For instance, maybe you started a business or a service, and somebody else tried to do or are doing the exact same thing that you're doing. Can you handle it? Now, there's nothing wrong with people being in the same service line. For instance, okay, since we're dealing on the topics of app-based gigs like Instacart or Shipped, and things like that, or Thrive. Now, there are going to be other grocery delivery platforms, and there have actually been other grocery delivery platforms way before Instacart or Shipt even came out. You just don't know about them, and most of them are probably local. Some of these businesses are just local. They just only deal with certain areas within your state or within your region, and that's about it, okay? So you have to think about some of these things, and not be so afraid or intimidated if someone else comes along and tries to do the same thing as you. Because, eventually the fake is going to be exposed and it won't last that long, okay? And so also think about, your future. Okay, so do you want to be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life? Or are you in this for maybe 10 or 15 years, 20 years, 5 years, and then maybe you say, you know what, I want to sell my business, or I want to give it away, or whatever. However you choose to do it, okay? Because most people that are entrepreneurs, they're in it for like a long haul, not just a year or two. There are companies that do sell or they merge with other businesses. That's very possible, okay? And so, like, for instance, Instagram is owned by Facebook, I think. Now, I don't know if Facebook created Instagram. I'm not quite sure about that, but there have been businesses that have merged with other companies, and so now they're one. Like, for instance, YouTube and Google partners. So now Google owns YouTube, and so now YouTube is Google. So that's kind of how that worked. And so if there is a large number on the table, you got some people that sell their business. And so think about that. Are you going to be able to partner with somebody? Like, are you able to trust somebody enough to share your ideas, to share inspirations, to share, what's on your heart, to share what's going on with the company for the future? Think about some of those things. Okay. And so I'm also dealing with people, like really, like, I know I'm going to say this a lot in some of my videos, but you really have to be able to know how to deal with people, or how to respond to issues, and how to respond to folk. Because if you are going to be an entrepreneur where you're just going to work for yourself, meaning like it's just going to be you, or maybe you and your spouse, your partner, whoever, or your best friend, or your child, or whoever, if it's just going to be you, okay, that means that it's going to be more personal. And you're going to interact with customers more so just for yourself. Now, if you're going to be the type of entrepreneur where you're going to spread your wings, and you're going to have enterprises, and you're going to have franchises, or you're going to service many different areas, then of course you have to be able to plan and be able to partner with different vendors or different businesses in order to make yourself grow, depending on the type of entrepreneur that you want to be. Now, some entrepreneurs, like with your business, with this particular type of business that I'm talking about, you have to be able to study other people. Now, I'm not saying like copy their personality, or copy how they look, or copy how they dress, but I'm talking about like study how they have done business. Okay. For instance, like I remember I had read a book. Well, I read most of it. I can't remember the name of the book, but I have it at home. And it was, who was it by? I want to say it's by John Maxwell. I think it's by him. And when he talked about the McDonald's brothers, and McDonald's, the two brothers that sold McDonald's, they sold it to this guy who caught on to the vision. And the guys didn't think that much about it. The brothers were like, okay, here you go. Because they didn't have good leadership skills. You got to read the book. Now I have to find it. I forgot the name of the book. I think it's What Kind of Leader Are You, or something. But anyway, but the guy who bought McDonald's, this is like back in like the 50s or 60s, I think. He took the vision, he ran with it, but he knew how to do business. Now, of course, McDonald's back then isn't how McDonald's is now, because it's really weird now. But he knew about business matters. He knew about people. He was a leader. Like, he knew how to talk to people. He knew how to interact. He knew how to respond the right way. He knew about finance. And so, being in this type of business, if you're going to start a company like this, you have to know how to deal with people. You got to know about finance. You have to know about money. And even if you don't, you can always hire a consultant or study on your own on how to be a better business person. Okay. Also, in order to know what kind of business person you want to be, or entrepreneur you want to be, study books. Like, there are so many books out there, great books that you can get on Amazon to know what kind of leader or what kind of business owner that you want to be. Especially dealing with industries such as this, the tech industry is very popular, and it's going to be like this for years to come. And so knowing a lot about technology and how it's ran. Now, I'm not saying you have to know about coding, because most people that believe it or not, most people that are in coding, that are in this app-based gig, don't really know anything about coding, or don't know anything about app-based design, UX, UI. They know nothing about this. And so you may have to end up partnering with somebody that is gifted in that area, that knows how to code, that knows how to design. And so finding the right person is very important. And that's also something that you have to get used to, because some people want to be the Lone Ranger and do it all on their own by themselves when they realize that they can't. And so it's also important to be able to have people in your circle that's going to tell you the truth. That's very important as an entrepreneur and business owner, is making sure that you have people in your circle that is going to tell you the truth and not be afraid to hurt your feelings. Now, I'm not saying that people are going to have someone in your circle that's going to put you down and cuss you out and, make you look stupid. No, I'm talking about people that is going to say, hey, you responded wrong, or you handled that inappropriately, or maybe you should go this route instead of that route, or maybe don't flirt with the customers, don't flirt with the clients, or say this on social media but don't say that, or maybe stop drinking so much, like whatever it is. Like, make sure you have somebody that's not afraid to tell you the truth. Because in this walk in entrepreneurship, there are going to be some things that will come up. There are going to be some flaws. You may make mistakes. You may make some poor decisions, but don't stay there and don't keep making the same mistake over and over again, because after a while, you're going to end up losing your clients. You're going to end up losing your customers. And then once people stop believing in your product or your service, then it's a wrap. And it's hard to bounce back from that, okay? And so, just decide, okay, am I going to be the type of entrepreneur that I am going to be able to talk to people and how they deserve to be talked to? Am I going to respond the right way? Am I going to treat my vendors or my suppliers right? Am I going to pay people for their service? Don't take people for granted. That's one of the most important things as an entrepreneur, is do not take people for granted. Like, if you know that person's worth a certain amount, or if you know that they're worth to get paid, make sure that you pay them. Now, I understand, like, if you have like a partnership or an agreement where, you'll pay them at a certain time, or you just, whatever agreement it is, okay, that's different. But, don't try to shortchange people so that way you can become successful, so you can become rich and famous. And then the people that actually helped you are in the back burner, and they're not getting paid or even getting recognized for their skill. Don't do that. Okay. I know some people believe in karma. I don't believe in karma, but what goes around comes around. But I believe you reap what you sow. So make sure that you are doing things appropriately, and that you're doing things in a spirit of excellence. As important as an entrepreneur, do it in a spirit of excellence. I have done stuff as an entrepreneur that I know was so off. I'm like, man, I sure could have done that better, or I should have did this, or I should have said that, whatever. And so sometimes we do stuff repeatedly, and then once we don't make any more money, or once we're not able to get bounced back off the ground, it's because we keep doing the same thing, or we're not doing something that we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? And so these are some factors on how to consider on knowing what kind of entrepreneur that you want to be. Is discovering your personality style, discovering your emotional style, discovering how you respond to people and situations, and also discovering what type of business you want to do. Maybe this isn't the type of business for you, but still, these are some factors to consider. Even like Google or go online to research personality styles and study who you are. Like study how your personality would reflect upon other people, because sometimes it's not so much about us not knowing the business lingo or the business side of things. It could just be our character. It could just be how we respond, or it could be the fact that you're too shy. There's some people that are so shy, they can't even say hello to people, and so these are some things to consider. And so, but that being said, I'm going to end this video. Once again, number 2 is knowing what kind of entrepreneur and knowing what kind of CEO that you want to be, and all this is going to boil down to is your personality, your character, your response, how you deal with people, what you will and won't do, what you will and won't allow, and also begin to research entrepreneurs. Like, maybe even go to some events in your area, like for here in Florida, and I'm sure you guys may have it in your state. It's called SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit organization that helps people, small businesses, get off the ground, help them basically start their business, and help them know and understand how to build a business, how to plan your business, how to be successful, and how to network and stuff like that. And they have awesome network events all the time. I've only been there like once or twice, but think about that, because they have free events all the time, or they may have events that are like $5 or $10 or whatever. So start researching in your area on different avenues on how to gain more confidence, and also how to be able to build yourself up in the area of being an entrepreneur and attend networking events. Go on Evite. I think it's called Evite. Look at Facebook. Sometimes Facebook have Facebook events and stuff like that, but just begin to do your research. Even Instagram sometimes have, posts that people do on different events. And so that's important to network. And also when you collaborate or when you interact with or network with other entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs, then you can kind of get an idea of what kind of entrepreneur that you want to be, and how to engage with other people, because engaging with other folks and being nice is very important to be successful. Okay. God bless y'all.